We slept in the same bed, but we were strangers. Not strangers to the world, not strangers to names or faces, strangers to each other's hearts. Every night I felt the warmth of his body beside me, but I didn't feel his presence. I slept next to the man I married, yet I slept alone. Our marriage did not begin with sadness. It began beautifully. I remember the first time we met. We talked for hours. We laughed without effort. He looked at me when I spoke, not quickly, not distracted, but fully. I felt seen. I felt heard. We dreamed together. We talked about life, about a home, about children, about growing old. We believed we would be different. On our wedding day, I wore a smile I would never wear again. I was certain. I was hopeful. When I felt tired, he held my hand. I felt safe. I thought, this is the man I will grow old with. The early years were about learning each other's moods, learning each other's silence. There were mistakes. There were small misunderstandings, but there were conversations. We talked. We tried. Then slowly, something changed. Not one big moment, just small things. Our conversations became shorter. Our questions disappeared. At night, our phones became more important than our words. In the morning, we rushed into our separate days. I began to feel like I was interrupting his life when I tried to talk. I told myself, maybe it's stress, maybe it's work, maybe it's just a phase. But the phase kept growing. There were evenings I sat quietly at the table, waiting for him to ask, "How are you?" He never did. We talked about bills, about children, about food, but we never talked about us. I started blaming myself, wondering if I was the problem. Maybe I wasn't trying hard enough. Maybe I had changed. Maybe I had become boring. I tried to change. I tried to be softer. I tried to be quieter. But silence did not bring us closer. It only grew. I started sleeping facing the wall, not out of anger, out of habit. Sometimes I wished he would touch my hand, even by accident. He never did, and I never asked why, because I was afraid of the answer, and afraid there might be no answer at all. There were nights I cried in the bathroom, quietly, letting the water run so no one would hear. I told myself, don't cry. Others have worse problems. But pain does not disappear because someone else hurts more. Pain is pain. Memories came back without warning. The day we laughed while cooking together. The day he held my hand in the street. The message he once sent saying he missed me. I kept asking myself, where did that man go? I had lost him, yet I still slept beside him. There were days I wished he would argue with me, that he would raise his voice, that he would be angry, because even anger would mean he still cared. But there was only silence. Silence at the dinner table, silence in bed, silence in the morning. We became two people sharing a house out of routine. I thought about leaving many times, but I stayed. I stayed for the children. I stayed out of fear. I stayed because I didn't know where to begin again. What would people say? Where would I go? Is there life after this? And he stayed too. I don't know why. We never asked each other. We had learned not to ask difficult questions. One day, I realized something terrifying. I had stopped expecting anything. I didn't expect kind words. I didn't expect affection. I didn't even expect him to ask if I was tired. I had learned how to live without, and that hurt the most, because I remembered the beginning. I remembered the man who once looked at me with love. Now he looked through me, like furniture, like part of the house. One night, I stayed awake listening to him breathe, wondering if he felt the same distance. But I didn't ask, because our marriage was built on silence, and silence taught us not to speak. Today, we are still together, but I am not with him in my heart. People see a stable marriage, no fights, no drama. They don't know that sometimes marriages don't break because of noise. They break because of silence. We slept in the same bed, but we were strangers. And maybe that is the kind of marriage that hurts the most.